Hey guys, it's January 6th and I'm here at the motorhome again. Tried to get it home yesterday and it died on me just about a half a mile from here. And I hiked back and got the van, drove it down there. Luckily it's like a real rural road, so it wasn't busy. I had enough juice left in it. I tried to turn it over, the RV, and start it, but it was just, the batteries were gone, so it wasn't going to start that next time. Pulled the van down there, hooked the cables up. Of course, heard the alternator on the van kick in automatic, or right then, because it was so dead, and charged the batteries up a little bit. When I went inside, after I hooked it up, I went inside and fired up the motorhome. It started right up, and I let them both sit there and idle with the cables hooked up about 10 minutes, and hoping to charge the battery up enough to get away with it. I pulled the van off the side of the road in a little shallow ditch there, and slammed the hoods down on this sucker and took off and made it back up the hill. He's got a pretty good hill in front of his shop, so I was kind of worried about that. I aired up the bags the other day, like I showed you, I think, with the Schrader valve back here, and kind of hard to get to, but it's of course it's aired up now, so it's a lot more clearance. Then I threw that valve, which is a bizarre looking valve, but it seemed to work. So it kept the hind end off the ground for 2 days now. When I was driving that thing down the hill, let me get out of the wind here. It was it died once on me, and then it started again when I was going down the hill, and got out on the road, turned left, gave it a little gas. It kind of popped and died, and then it wouldn't start, and that's where I was. But until I got the van. So like I said, I got it started again, got it back up here in its little nest, and grabbed the batteries out of it. It's got the battery, you know, in the back for the generator. I didn't mess with that, but I got the other two batteries out in front of here, and I took them to Advanced Auto Parts, and they ran a diagnostic on them. They both were dead, you know, not dead, but they were low on charge, real low on charge, but they showed good, which is a awful good sign, because these suckers, if you bought a battery lately, they're not cheap. So I took them home and stuck them on a charger. I like to charge stuff like that on a 2-amp trickle charger, but I kind of pushed it and put them on the 10-amp setting, which that still ain't too hot, but the 2 amps better. When I was fiddling around with this, I found this inline fuse holder, and the fuse was blown in it, and it was a 60-amp fuse. And I tried to, that's why I was sitting at the side of the road down there fiddling with it. And I was wondering, I mean, it goes from this relay over to the lug where some other positives plug in. There, I dropped that thing again. So anyway, while I was at Advanced getting my batteries tested, I bought this thing. There's $7. I was going to plug it in, but I think I'll wait. Just put the batteries in it, fire it up, and test and see if it's charging with my little voltmeter, and I'm pretty sure it will be. I don't think that's where a charge would go through. That was the only concern, is like that might be where the alternator circuit is. Yeah, next thing I'm going to do after I get the battery stuck in it is pull this master cylinder off and take it to my little vise over here and seat it in here and bench bleed it, for a better term. Brought me some rubber gloves, and I got some extra fluid, so I can push that plunger down and then put my fingers on the ports of it and let it up, and it should pull fluid in there. It's a lot easier to, or a lot nicer to do it if you can have some little hoses like the little bleeder kits and put over in there. I didn't have one, didn't want to run by the store and mess with it. I've got plenty of fluid, it'll still work. So if I get that bled out, and I have, hopefully I'll have some air in it, and if I do, then I'll probably test drive it. And if I don't have much in the way of air, I'm going to try to scamper around underneath here and get onto the calipers, the bleeder screws, which calipers right here. That bleeder screw may be so far in that sucker that it I can't reach it, but we'll see. I don't think we can see anything from out here, but I got my little light. So there's a bleeder screw in there somewhere on top of that piston. If you take those loose, a lot of times everything reassembled, they'll gravity bleed. The fluid, just the weight of the fluid going out of here, probably here. Probably this is the front one's probably. Wouldn't swear to anything. It's been 50 years since it was built. But anyway, it'll run down that hose and bowl up any air that's there, but displacing it by the brake fluid. I'm hoping that the daggum thing is just wasn't bled right, because it looks brand new. It's aluminum. It would have been corroded up more, I think. Anyway, just don't think it got bled right. I hope, fingers crossed. So let me get after this and throw the batteries in there and see what's going on. Get back with you in a minute. I can still see it bubble in the in this front section here. It's sure a messy way to do it, but it sure blew a bunch of air out of it, like a bunch. So I'll get my knee over against that again, pumping some more. Man, it's crazy how much air is coming out of this front reservoir. I don't know if you can hear them bubbles or not. I'm sure you can't see it because stupid hands are right in the way. Hey, you just have to take my word for it, I guess. carrot's finally pushing some fluid. Okay. That may be about as good as I can get it. All right, we're gonna give that a try. Well, I'm waiting for my air compressor to cool off and start working again. Thought I'd go ahead and check the oil. There seems to be some. That's a good sign. Yeah, looks like it's full. This dipstick is right at 6 feet long. I guess that's what it takes to reach it, though. Got my little van pulled at the front of the RV. Let's see if it'll, air compressor will come back on. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm putting these at about 65 pounds. They were all low. Well, I think the old battery might be heat soaking once I shut it off. I brought the batteries back, got them all hooked up. Checking connections, nothing was hot, but this was warm. And I took, these were finger tight, these stupid little emergency ends. So I took that off and where I could see it and put the cable in it right and cranked it down real good. I think that took care of that, and I tried it and it still was turning over slow. So this is a battery transfer switch. This goes to the engine load here in the middle, and then the batteries are 1 and 2, and it switches over. I've got them turned off now, but it switches over and you can do both the batteries on it, which is kind of the old switcheroo boost thing on the motorhomes, and the other ones, they've kind of got rid of that. I was fiddling around with this and felt down here, and man, that one, this number 1 cable, which is plenty heavy, going probably to the starter, it was hot. And it's still hot around this part here, around this connector. It feels tight. I may bring a punch tomorrow and pull that out. It's got quite a bit of cable on it. I think I can get it up here and have my, like my vise setting on there and give it a good thump. and maybe tighten that up a little bit. I don't really think that's the problem. I think the old starter may have just finally given up after cranking so long, because RV starters don't live the best life, because the old thing will sit for weeks or months, and then somebody will come out and jump it and spin it over until it starts. So yeah, they kind of tend to blow them up. I think the brakes are going to be okay. I'll know more when I get started. They seem to have more front brake, like instead of none. Although you can see I kind of slid that one when I came in here. I braked pretty hard just to see if it would lock anything up. I know the drum brakes can't have so much wear on them. I mean, highly unlikely that they'd be separated and season up like the old ones do. Probably riveted ones on there too. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is come back over in the morning and bring a couple of batteries and throw my jumper cables and air compressor, and I'll probably gather up some more tools tonight, and maybe 5 gallons of water. And it sounds like I'm going across the friggin' country, but if you're broke down 10 miles from home, that's still hard to push. Not a bad day. Yeah, I think that sounds like a plan. I'll try to get her at the house tomorrow. This has sure been a good old van. That hood is very noisy. You wouldn't want to be trying to do that when your neighbors are asleep. All right, well, I'm going to load this stuff up. Camera equipment, compressor I'll probably leave here. Jumper cables I better take with me because I am driving a Chevy. Compressor I might ought to take with me because I am driving a Chevy. All right, talk to you later. Thanks for dropping by. Take her easy.